In a small dusty village, where the sun beats down hard and the rain comes little, there live a man and a woman named Kofi and Amma. They were so poor that even the other poor people in the village felt sorry for them. Their hut was the smallest, their clothes were the oldest, and their belly were often empty. Their greatest treasure was their daughter, whom they named Tamba, meaning hope. The night Tamba was born, something strange happened. The old midwife, Nanaya, helped bring the baby into the world. When the baby let out her first cry, a single tear rolled down her cheek, but that was no ordinary tears. In the light of the oil lamp, it sparks. It was a tiny, perfect drop of solid gold. Nanaya gasped and stepped back, her eyes wide with fear. She showed it to Kofi and Amma. "This child," she whispered, her voice shaking. "This is not normal. This is a curse. She is a witch." Kofi and Amma hearts filled with terror. They loved their daughter, but they were afraid of what the village would say. They hid the golden tears and did not tell anyone. But as Tamba grew, they could not hide the truth. When she fell and scraped her knees, her tears produced little good. When she was hungry, her sad whisper comes with tiny gold flakes. Fear consumed them. They thought evil spirit has touched their daughter. They took her to a traditional healer deep in the forest. The healer gave her potions, but still her tears were gold. Everyone was scared of her, but no one could find a cure. One night, Kofi and Amma sat under a tree, thinking of the problem and how to cure their daughter. One day, as Amma and Kofi sat in the middle of their hut, looking at the small pile of gold they have collected, Kofi immediately thought, "What if this is not a curse? What if," he said slowly, "what if it's a blessing?" Amma looked at Kofi and said, "Well, then let's take it to the market and see what it really is." The next morning, they took one small gold tears to a merchant in the big city. The merchant's eyes lit up. He was surprised to see Kofi and Amma with a real gold. He gave them more money for that one piece they had and asked them to bring more. Amma and Kofi were very surprised and they went home rejoicing and very happy. That day, everything changed. They realized that Tamba's tears were a gift. They began to gently make her sad so she would cry. They would tell her a sad story or pretend to be upset with her. Each tear was money. They sold the gold and became rich, very rich. They built a huge house made of stones and concrete right in the middle of the village where their small huts used to be. They bought expensive cars that kicked up dust on the villagers. They wore fine clothes and ate rich food. At first, they were happy. They showed Tamba with toys and beautiful dresses, but soon the money changed them. Pride entered their hearts. They forgot their own struggles. They looked down on their neighbors. When a poor farmer asked for a loan to buy seed, Kofi laughed and said, "Why don't you work harder like I did?" He forgot that his wealth came not from work, but from his daughter's pain. Amma, who once shared her little food with others, now walks past hungry children without a glance. They became afraid that someone would discover their secret, so they locked Tamba away in a big house. She had everything a child could want, except freedom and love. The more money they wanted, the more they needed Tamba to cry. Their gentle sadness turned to cruelty. They would shout at her for little things. They would take away her favorite toys. They would tell her that no one loves her and that she was all alone. The poor child's heart was consistently broken, and her tears of gold flew like a river. They collected them in the big basket. The villagers whispered. They never saw the little girl anymore. They thought Kofi and Amma had used Tamba for ritual, but no one was bold enough to confront them. They only saw her rich, proud parents who oppressed them and showed them no kindness. One evening, Kofi and Amma went to Tamba's room to collect the day's tears, but the bucket was only half full. "I've not cried enough today," Kofi shouted. "We need more gold," Amma yelled. Tamba looked at them, her eyes red and sore from all the cries. She had no more tears left inside her. Her heart was completely broken. She felt a deep, heavy sadness that was too big for crying. "Please, Mama, Papa," she whispered, her voice weak. I just want a hug. I don't want to cry anymore. But her parents did not listen. Angrily, Kofi raised his hands as if to hit her, hoping to scare more tears out of her. Samba looked at her parents' face, now twisted by grief, and she did not recognize them. She let out one deep, long sigh. It was not a cry, it was the sound of a heart giving up. She closed her eyes, laid down on her big, lonely bed, and died. The moment her breath left her body, a strange wind blew through the big house. The bucket filled with goat's tears suddenly began to shake. The goat turned to dust and then vanished into the air. Downstairs, the gold ornaments on the walls turned back to clay. The money in their safe turned to dry leaves. The big stone house began to crack. The roof fell in, and before Kofi and Ama's eyes, their magnificent house crumbled to dust, leaving them standing in the middle of an empty plot where their old small hut used to be. They were wearing their old rags clothes again. They had nothing. The gift was gone because the child was gone. They had traded their daughter's love for gold, and in the end, they were left with nothing but a terrible regret and the memory of her sad golden eyes. The villagers gathered around not to laugh, but to look with pity at the two foolish people who had a treasure of love and tears and who threw it all away for pride. Thank you for watching. Please stay tuned for our next interesting story. Bye.